So here we are, guys. It's almost March the 6th. And something just dawned on me after watching a couple TikTok videos. So, hear me out. And I'm going to do a timeline of events that has happened between a certain month and today, yesterday, March 5th, whatever. Remember back on October the 4th, 2023, when I forgot what time it happened. It was like around noon or something like that, or 2 p.m. or something, when they said that all services were going to be down. There's going to be an emergency broadcast transmission that was going to, be aired over the radio waves, and TV was going to be affected, and television and phones were going to be affected, especially cell phones, where people were told to turn your cell phones off at the time that this happens. Remember that? Okay. That was October 4th, 2023. Fast forward to January 5th, when Verizon services went down. Remember that? I want to cover most of this on the podcast, so stay tuned. So we got two important dates, October 4th and January 5th. Then there was February 22nd. This was just, 2 weeks ago? AT&T, Verizon, and several other services went down for no apparent fucking reason for X amount of hours. Mind you, this all happens in the morning hours. This doesn't happen in the evening when you're at home with your family eating dinner or talking to your kids about how school was. This is all happening during the workday, during when kids are in school, your all's asses are at work or sleeping or whatever, depending on your work shift. So then there's this morning, March 5th. Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and from what I hear, several other services went down too. Okay? These services went down, and then they were restored within a 2 or 3 hour period, right? Now, supposedly, according to some of these TikTokers, as soon as Facebook and Instagram went down, there was an emergency broadcast alert that came over the airwaves on the radio. Just as soon as the service went down. And they're filming this shit in their cars. That leads me to be a little bit skeptic about that, where I'm like, okay, you all are doing a TikTok video, and you're like, oh, Facebook just went down, and then this just happened. Okay, so you're in your car. What are you doing? Fucking driving? Pulled on the side of the road, decided to do a fucking video on the emergency broadcast system and shit? Radios and television airwaves, they have been, they've had these emergency broadcast system updates over the last few decades, or so many decades. It's an important piece. It's an important thing to do that they do with television services and radio services. It's kind of hard to explain. You got to be a boomer to understand it, and I'm pretty much fall into that category. But isn't it weird that ever since October 4th, that the starting of this year, each month so far has had one thing happen that deals with outages. Their electrical outages or whatever they are, dealing with our communications devices. And somebody even said something about pharmacies were having issues communicating with each other. So, from what I'm gathering, I'm understanding is ways of communication are being affected once a month now. So, it's either coincidental that it's happening, or the government is trying to play us and say, hey, we have control of your devices. We have control of the way you communicate with people. So think about it. So with all this happening, I'm going to cover this in an episode of Tuned In Live or Utter Random Crap, whichever comes first, because this is a very interesting topic, and I definitely want to get to the bottom of this and see what you guys think.